everyone, and welcome to this live class, Phrases. My name is Kevin, and I am from the United States. I am from Chicago specifically, and I am the founder of Deliberate English. My mission is to help people like you, international professionals who want to speak more confident English at work so they can feel more confident, feel proud of the work they do, as well as potentially earn more money or even get a better job. Now, as far as the class today, the way that it's going to work is that I will explain a new expression about what's going to happen on a video call, how to talk about problems that you might face, right? And then I'll give you a couple of examples. Okay, so I'll give you some example expressions on or example sentences using those expressions so you know what to do with them, how to use them properly. And then the most important part is that I want you to write comments using the new expressions so I can give you live feedback. Okay. So I want you to write comments using the new expressions so I can give you live feedback. And so that way, as we're learning new expressions, it's just like when you were a kid. You tried using some words and then your teachers corrected you, or you tried using some sentences and then your parents corrected you. And it was through this process of creating sentences and then getting corrections that you got to a high level in your native language. So we're going to try to do some of that today. All right, so just want to give everyone a second to get joined in here. If you have any questions, please feel free to write them in the chat on the live class, and I'll be happy to answer those. And just give me 1 second here while I make sure that we're broadcasting to all of the right areas. Just give me 1 second. Okay, and okay, perfect. All right. So with that, let's go ahead and get started. So the first expression that we'll talk about is to mute or unmute yourself. Okay. To mute or unmute yourself. So this is how we ask someone or we talk about turning our microphones on or off. Okay. So if you need somebody's sound to turn off, you can say, hey, can you mute yourself or can you unmute yourself? And this is the most common way that we talk about it, right? So instead of saying, hey, turn your mic off, turn your mic on, we usually just say mute or unmute when we're on a call. So for example, you might say, hey, could you unmute yourself? Or I can't hear you, right? Could you unmute yourself? I can't hear you. Another way to use this expression is to say, you forgot to take yourself off mute. So you can put yourself on mute. You can also take yourself off mute. So you forgot to take yourself off mute. Another example, could everybody go on mute? I'd like to minimize distractions. And so this is a very useful expression, a very useful sentence that you can say at the beginning of a presentation. So maybe you want to make sure there's no noise, there's no distractions. So you can just politely ask, hey, could everybody go on mute? I'd like to minimize distractions. Could everybody go on mute? I'd like to minimize distractions. So we saw a couple ways to use this, right? So you can use mute or unmute like a verb. You can say, could you unmute? Could you mute? But you can also use it in the expression to put yourself on or to take yourself off. Now, again, if you want to try using this in a sentence, go ahead and write your own sentence with mute or ummets And when I see some of those come in, we'll look at those together and I'll let you know if you're using them correctly or we can work together to fix any mistakes. Okay. All right. So the next expression is background noise. Background noise. So, background noise are all of those things you hear on a call, like barking dogs, crying children, maybe some loud music. And when we hear these things on a call, it's most common to talk about them generally by saying background noise. And so that's because if you specifically complain about a sound like barking dogs, then whoever has the background noise might feel a little embarrassed, especially if you're in like a large group of maybe like 30, 40, 50 people at work. And so if you say, "Hey, who's got the barking dogs?" Um, that might make that person feel a little embarrassed. So if you just generally say, "Hey, there's some background noise," that's going to help you be more polite. That will make sure that the other person doesn't feel ashamed about it, and they can also fix the issue. Hey, I'm getting a lot of background noise. Could you go on mute? I'm getting a lot of background noise. Could you go on mute? Another way to use it, I'll go on mute since there's a lot of background noise at my house. So if you know that you have noise happening in the background, you can volunteer, you can offer to go on mute, like we saw before, so that you don't cause distractions. Okay. So those are a couple ways to use background noise. Again, I want to see some examples of your own using these expressions. Um, and yeah, we have a couple comments in here. Let's see. So here's one that says, "I can't mute myself. It doesn't work." Yeah, so you could definitely say this. You could say, "I can't mute myself. It's not working," is probably what I would say. When we say things like "it's not working" or "I am trying," when we use that type of sentence, it makes it sound like it's happening right now. Like this is an active problem. So I would probably say, "I can't mute myself. It's not working. It's not working." Um, you can also say it doesn't work, but I think you'd hear it a little more commonly as "it's not working." We also have a perfect sentence here from Mr. Shea Winterstein. Hello, Shay. Good to see you again. It's been a while. But yes, lots of dogs and babies. Could everyone please mute themselves? Of course. Of course. All right. So again, let's come back over here. And again, if anyone else has some more example sentences they want to try, I want to hear them, I want to see them, and we'll look at them together. All right. So next up, we have lag. Lag. So lag is what happens when a video and the sound don't match. They're not happening at the same time. So you might see someone's mouth moving, but then the sound arrives late, right? The sound arrives at the wrong time. Or maybe you start to say something on the call and then you hear someone's voice, even though it doesn't look like they're talking, right? So that's because there's lag. So you might say, "Could you say that again? I'm getting a lot of lag. I'm getting a lot of lag." Or you could offer to say, "Hey, I'm going to try reconnecting since there's a lot of lag." Right? So I'm having all these problems. So I'm going to try reconnecting since there's a lot of lag. You could also ask somebody else politely, "Could you try connecting again? There's a lot of lag." Okay. So we can say, "Could you say that again? I'm getting lag." We could say, "I'm going to try reconnecting since there's a lot of lag." Or "Could you try connecting again? There's a lot of lag." Okay. So that's lag. And let's see in the comments, we've got a couple expressions coming in or a couple sentences. Let's see. So Gary says, "Could anyone remove, cut off, or reduce background noise?" So I would not say remove. I would not say cut off. You could say, could you reduce? Um, but I would probably just say, hey, could everyone, go on mute? There's some background noise. Or could everyone check if they have background noise? Could everyone work to reduce their background noise? Um, so yeah, definitely not cut off, definitely not remove, but you could say, hey, could you reduce? Or could everyone? It's usually more common to say everyone. Could everyone reduce background noise? Could everyone cut off, or could everyone, go on mute than to say anyone in this situation? Because everyone refers to the whole group. Anyone is like, we don't know if there's somebody out there. They might be out there, they might not be out there, but we're not sure. But in this case, we know that there are people on our call. So it's more common to just refer to the group as everyone, and then ask them politely to do something like mute themselves or check if they have background noise. Hey, could you check if you have background noise? Could everyone check? Could everyone go on mute? Okay. All right. So the next expression, expression number 4, is to scroll up or down. This is a very, very useful one. And just to show you here, if I'm sharing a screen, I can scroll up or I can scroll down. I can scroll up and scroll down. So this is super useful when you want to ask somebody who's presenting to do something with their screen, right? So we're just talking about moving the screen up or moving the screen down. So you can ask someone, hey, scroll up for a second. I missed what was on the first page. Okay, so scroll up for a second. I missed what was on the first page. You could also ask somebody, hey, could you scroll down? I want to see the sales charts, or I want to see the next page. So scroll down, scroll up. Super useful. Great way to ask people to do something when they're presenting something on the screen. Okay, so scroll up and scroll down. Let's take a look at our next comment here. So this video is very interesting, but there is a lot of lag. It's hard to watch. This is perfect. This is perfect. It's a great way to use lag. You're saying that, hey, this looks good. There's a lot of lag. It's hard to watch. Yeah, if there's a lot of lag, it's definitely going to be hard to watch. Great job. You used it perfectly. All right. Let's see now. The next expression, very similar to what we just talked about. So, share your screen. So, what I just did, that's sharing my screen. I can share or I can stop sharing my screen. So, it's just a nice simple phrase, to show the audience a document or a presentation on your computer. And so, some ways that we might use this, okay, let me just share my screen and we can get started. Or I'm not sure what's wrong. Could you share your screen so we can look at it together? I'm not sure what's wrong. Could you share your screen so we can look at it together? Okay, so share a screen, stop sharing. Nice simple one to talk about presenting some sort of content to your audience. Okay. So again, let's see some more sentences here with any of those expressions. And just give me a second to grab some water here before we go to our next 5. All right. So another problem that you might face in a call is when somebody's screen that is called your screen freezing. Right. So somebody's talking and then all of a sudden their screen just stops. It freezes, it gets stuck on an image. So that's what we call it. We say somebody's screen froze, your screen froze if the video stopped moving and it's stuck on the same image. So a couple ways to use this one. Hey, sorry, it looks like your screen froze. Can you stop and restart your video? Sorry, looks like your screen froze. Can you stop and restart your video? A lot of times that will fix it. If you think you have the problem, you might say, hey, I think my screen froze. Give me a sec to fix it. I think my screen froze. Give me a sec to fix it. And so, very common problem, unfortunately. And if you're talking about screens freezing, the other people will know exactly what you're talking about. Nice, natural, easy way to talk about the problem and look for a solution. So, your screen froze, my screen froze. Let's try to fix it. All right. Expression number 7. You're cutting in and out. You're cutting in and out. So if somebody is cutting in and out, that means that they're, and then we're, and then they, and that, so this is that annoying problem where the audio is starting and stopping and starting and stopping, and it makes it very, very hard to understand what is happening. Okay. So you're cutting in and out, you're cutting in and out. And so something you might say if this is happening to you is, I didn't get that. You're cutting in and out. I didn't get that. You're cutting in and out. So I didn't understand what was happening because your audio kept starting, stopping, and starting and stopping. You might also need to tell someone to stop talking, to stop presenting, right? So sorry to interrupt. Sorry to interrupt, but you're cutting in and out. Can you try to reconnect? So sorry to interrupt, but you're cutting in and out. Can you try to reconnect? So that's another common way to say this. So you can politely interrupt. Sorry to interrupt. It's a great way to do that, but you're cutting in and out. Okay. So again, I want to see some more sentences with using some of these expressions. So you're cutting in and out, or your screen froze, for example. Just put those in the comments, and I'll let you know how you use them. So your screen froze, cutting in and out. Okay. All right. Our 8th expression. Looks like we've got a comment in here. What's the difference between cutting in and out and breaking up? Great question, because I'm going to tell you right now. Breaking up is the next expression here. So we'll talk about that in a second. Let's look what Mercy has to say here. Hello, sometimes WhatsApp cutting in and out. Yeah, so here it's you certainly can have a WhatsApp call that is cutting in and out. And so you're missing one word here. So you would say hello, well, or just, sometimes WhatsApp is cutting in and out. Or another way to say that is sometimes WhatsApp cuts in and out. So just to take a look at that together. So if I come back here, so you can say a couple things. So sometimes WhatsApp cuts in and out. So this is just a general statement. This happens sometimes when you're on WhatsApp, right? It's not a specific time. You could also say like our WhatsApp call is cutting in and out. Another good way to say it. Or you could just say sometimes WhatsApp cutting in and out. I would probably say the first two more commonly, especially the first one. So sometimes WhatsApp cuts in and out. Sounds pretty natural to me. But very good sentence. Thank you. All right. So now back to your breaking up and then cutting in and out. So you can use these two terms together. Right? They're very similar. Nobody's going to be confused if you say you're cutting in and out or you're breaking up. But if you want to be very specific, you're breaking up means that the audio is just like getting worse and worse. So it started good, but then every minute it's getting worse. Maybe there's some static, the that type of sound, or there's some just weird pauses. So that's breaking up versus cutting in and out is more just the stop, start, stop, start, right? So breaking up, audio quality is getting worse. There's some static, some noise like that. That's how I would use breaking up. So you could say, hey, could you repeat that? You were breaking up. Or mind saying that again? Your audio was breaking up. Um, Now, you could also say, mind saying that again? Your audio was cutting in and out. And again, that's not a huge problem if you use those two. But if you notice, it's specifically just like there's all this static and their voice sounds like it's a weird robot computer noise, then that's probably what we would use to say breaking up. And by the way, you can see there's a couple different ways that I've been using to ask people to repeat things. So you can just say, "Could you repeat that?" But you can also ask people, "Hey, mind saying that again?" Or "Could you say that again?" Or "What was that?" Those are all some different ways of asking people to repeat what they just said. So you don't always have to say, "Could you repeat it? Could you repeat it? Could you repeat it?" Okay. So again, if you have some examples of those sentences, of these expressions like you're breaking up or you're cutting in and out, go ahead and write your sentences in the comments. All right. So we have two more expressions for today. The next one is we lost you. We lost you. So this is what we say when somebody just disappears. We can't see them on the video call anymore. We can't hear them on the video call anymore. So we lost you. We lost you. So you might say, "Hey, Kevin, are you there? I think we lost you. I think we lost you." Or maybe you're giving a presentation and you're talking to people in your audience. And when you ask someone a question, maybe this guy, Ben, you say, "Hey, Ben, what did you think of that chart?" And then you don't hear anything. You're like, "Why isn't he answering me?" Somebody else in the audience might say, "Hey, I think we lost Ben, but just keep going with the presentation. I think we lost Ben. I think we lost you. I think we lost Mary. I think we lost Maria," right? So if we think that that person has disappeared and they are not on the call anymore, we would say, "I think we lost that person." Okay. So again, that was number 9. We lost you. I think we lost you. And that brings us to our last expression for today. Type your responses in the chat. Type your responses in the chat. So the chat is just where you can write your messages in a video call. So like if you're on Zoom, there's a chat option. You could consider like the comments in this video class as a chat as well. And this is just a really polite and common way to tell people to use text messages instead of interrupting you with an audio question, right? So maybe you know that you don't have a lot of time on your call, and if a lot of people stop you and ask you questions out loud, that you're going to not have enough time. So you can just ask them at the beginning, "Hey, to keep things moving, to make sure we don't get stuck, to make sure we don't lose or run out of time," you can say, "Hey, please type your responses in the chat." Or if people are interrupting you a lot on your call and during your presentation, you can say, "Hey, I know you guys have a lot of questions, but please type them in the chat for now. I know you have a lot of questions, but please type them in the chat for now." Okay. We've got a few sentences that have come in here. Let's see what we've got. So my phone is going to be breaking out. I'm at the garage. Okay, so let's take a look at this one. Oops, sorry. So our expression or our sentence here. So my phone is going to be breaking out at the garage. So I see that you corrected yourself, right? So it's definitely breaking up, not breaking out. So good job fixing your own mistake there. Um, so my phone is going to be breaking up. I probably wouldn't say going to be breaking up because we don't know for sure. I think you'd more commonly hear people say, "My phone might start." My phone might start breaking up. I'm at the garage. Um, Another way to say garage that's maybe a little more common, at least where I live, is to say like I'm at the uh, I'm at the shop or I'm at the mechanics at the mechanic. So my phone might start breaking up. I think that's how I'd say it. Because again, we don't really know for sure if we're going to be breaking up, and you're not going to hear it. So it would just be might. My phone might start breaking up. Okay. Let's see. Barry falls in love. Well, lost her. Well, I suppose if you're on a call and you fall in love on your call, then maybe that person would leave to be with the person that they love. But and you did fix your mistake there. We lost her. So yeah, you could say, hey, Mary, she fell in love, so she decided to leave. We lost her. She's not here anymore. Very, very interesting expression. Very interesting sentence. All right. So if you have any more sentences that you want to try or you have any questions, now is a great time to ask them in the comments. I'd be happy to address them. But while we wait, the last thing that I'll mention is just, a lot of times students ask me or they tell me that, they have a hard time remembering words in a conversation. They say, hey, I know a lot of vocabulary. I understand it when people tell me about it or people say words to me, but I can never remember these words or these expressions when I'm trying to talk. And that's a common problem. And the good news is, I do have a solution for you. So if you go to deliberatenglish.com, I have a free 3-step guide you can use to help you learn and memorize words in a way that actually allows you to use them when you are in a live conversation. So, again, how do we move these words from sort of your passive memory, where you understand things, to your active memory, where you can actually use them in a conversation? So, you can get that for free at deliberatenglish.com. And that'll also put us in contact via email so we can talk more about your goals, your challenges, and how to help get you to become a more confident English speaker. Okay. So, any final questions? Any final example sentences? I'll give you about a minute to put them in the chat here, and if not, we will wrap up or finish for the day. So again, got about a minute here. If there's any final things you want me to check, any questions you want to ask, now is your chance. Okay, so we got one here. So sometimes my laptop can turn off without reasons. I don't know what's wrong with it. Let's take a look and put it over here. So sometimes my laptop turn off without reasons. I don't know what's wrong with it. Okay. So sometimes my laptop can turn off. That's good. I don't know what's wrong with it. That's good. But we don't really say without reasons. The most common way that we say this is for no reason. Sometimes my laptop can turn off for no reason. Um, I would also probably get rid of this can. Um, we're talking if we're using can, we're talking more about like the ability, it has the ability to turn off, which, all laptops have the ability to turn off. But if we're just talking about this as a common problem that happens a lot, I would probably say sometimes my laptop oops, turns off for no reason. Sometimes my laptop turns off for no reason. You could also add on and off if you really want to exaggerate this problem. All right, so sometimes my laptop turns on and off for no reason. I don't know what's wrong with it. Okay. Hopefully that makes sense. But the most important part is this one here for no reason. So we don't say without reasons, we say for no reason. So sometimes my wife yells at me for no reason. Sometimes I get scared for no reason. Right. So for no reason. But good job. Good sentence. Very nice. All right. Any other questions? Any other sample sentences? All right. Looks like we are done for today then. So, again, I hope that you learned something useful. I hope that you'll be able to use these expressions. Afterwards, I will put a list of the 10 in the comments below the live here so you can go and review them. And again, if you want to talk more, you can find me at deliberatenglish.com and we'll work together to help you improve your English. Yeah, thank you as well. I can reach out to you and talk about the course, and yeah, it'd be great to have you there. It's a really exciting thing to be able to improve your English and to do it together. So I would love to help you. Mercy, thank you for joining as well, and we'll see you guys soon. Okay, bye bye.